What's up, everybody? So it is Tuesday tips, tricks, and tools, and wanted to come on and make sure that because there were definitely other people that voted last week or week before. I don't even know what day it is. I only know it's Tuesday because I'm doing this video, but for people that wanted me to talk about how to position yourself as the expert, which I love because this is so super crucial, right? Like, I don't think any of us ever go looking for a product or a service, and our thought process is, I mean, whatever's fine, right? Like, we almost, sorry, I just picked up my cat and I have hair everywhere. Welcome to my life. But anyway, but yeah, so positioning yourself as the expert, because I think for a lot of us that sounds great, right? But if no one's ever actually sat down and told you how to do that, it's this really elusive concept. And there are actually a lot of little things that you can do. And so I've got a list so I didn't forget anything. So if you see me keep looking, that's what I'm doing. Because I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide you with enough ideas that no matter where you're at in your business, you can utilize these, right? Some of these, you may not be there yet. Some you may be way past it. Actually, I don't know if there are any that you're past, because I think we can always use these. I also need to apologize ahead of time. The weather here is being a little shitty, and the thunder is out of control, and not in frequency, but in intensity. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a lightning bolt like a block or two away from me, because it shook my entire house and lasted for a good 10 seconds, and my dogs lost their damn minds. And for those who don't know, I have 6 dogs, none of whom are small. The smallest one is 55 pounds. Largest is 110. So if it thunders and you hear them go nutso, I'm going to mute myself so I can yell at them to get their attention. So just in case that happens. Okay. So first thing you can do in positioning yourself as the expert, right? You can actually start to do this in telling your story. And telling your story is a huge, huge, huge part of just your brand and getting yourself out there and connecting with those ideal clients. Now, one thing that I want to point out that it actually, I mean, until I really dug a lot into branding and studied and things like that, I didn't know this either. And I was totally guilty of it. But when you're telling your story, it's not as much about you as it is about the other person. And what I mean by that is, and I had to think about this so hard because this will be a big shock to everybody, but I can talk for forever. Okay. I'll let you pick yourselves off the floor first out of shock. But I want to tell the parts of my story that are going to resonate the most with the people that I most want to serve, right? So if there's a piece of my story that's only important to me, but it's not really important, if you're my audience and it's not important to you, I don't want to waste a bunch of time on that. It's still important to me, and there are avenues and mediums for me to talk about that. But when you're telling your story, you want to think about, and really just think about the stories you've heard. When you've decided that you need to hire someone, work with someone, buy their whatever, the ones that you've gotten there because of the story they've told, most likely it's because you were sitting there going, oh my gosh, yes, you're talking directly to me, right? So, but when you tell your story, you want to present the problem. Most of us, I would say, I would even say the majority of us probably started our business or got into what we're doing because of a problem that we encountered or a need that we saw that wasn't being met. And so typically we had the same problem, right? We had a problem and we want to present that problem. Like, okay, so I was dealing with this. For me, it's been one of the reasons that I talk about standing out so much is because that's definitely something that I've experienced, right? Like, I'm not just another branding person. And really in all aspects of my life. I mean, I'm a pretty unique little weirdo. So present your problem. Okay. For example, I'm going to use, one of our people in here, Kaylee. I don't know if this is you that's on right now or not, but, with Kaylee and her photography business, her photography business is called Raw. And what makes Kaylee super unique and what makes her someone that people just can't wait to work with is that she, one, she does not do excessive editing in her photos. Like she does like the, kind of the industry standard. And she'll take away anything that's like if a hair blew in front of your face or whatever. But she doesn't edit to alter the subject's appearance, because her whole point and mission in what she does is to get you, like not just the outward, but get that unique thing inside of you out and on the camera and empower you and make you feel comfortable and confident in a way that you haven't experienced before, right? And so if that's the problem that she's solving, she's going to talk about that. Yeah. And then what we're going to talk about next in your story, when you're positioning yourself to be the expert, is kind of just a succinct version of what did you do to find the solution? You tried this, you tried that, you tried this, you researched, you took classes, you took online courses, you hired someone, whatever. Like, this is my problem. These are all the things that I did to try to solve this problem. And then you talk about the breakthrough, right? And the combination of the breakthrough plus the experience you had to get from I have a problem to it's solved, that's what makes you the expert, because you get to tell people, I already did all the things. And this is what works, and this is how I know it, and this is the result. So telling your story, that's one way to position yourself as an expert. Another one, huge, 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 is if you're already in business or you've done work for someone, testimonials. Yeah. And even more so now than just testimonials, it's about the social proof, right? That's the big buzz phrase that goes around it. So as much as this hurts my heart a little bit as a designer, to see like screenshots being used like in webinars and PDFs and Instagram feeds and all that, they work. Because it's not just, we're all cynics sometimes, right? There's no way that somebody just made that up and you just typed it in and assigned a name to it. Like people can see, oh, this person sent them this message on this date. So getting those testimonials and showing that social proof that you've had real live customers and this is what they've experienced as a result of working with you. Third option, write. Yeah. Write articles, write blogs about your area of expertise, about what you do. And then the really big one is writing a book. And that may or may not be a good plan of action for you where you are. I definitely want that to be somewhere that I get to. I just haven't even started because I don't know what I'd write on. Like at this point, it would just be a hodgepodge of fuckery. I don't know. But writing a book, right? And also too, by the way, like you can write a book and you can put it on Amazon. So I want to take away that little, it doesn't have to be the craziest, most elaborate process in the world. Teaching not only, and this is a twofer here, because obviously if you're teaching, that's basically what I'm doing right now, right? I'm teaching. You get to not just tell people you're the expert, you get to show it. Right? The proof is in the pudding. The other really cool thing about teaching is that it actually will increase your expertise and it will make you better. One of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. Now, I'm not suggesting that you call yourself an expert on something you have no idea about and you learn as you go, right? That's not what I'm saying. But, for example, if before this question popped up, how to position yourself as an expert, if someone had just randomly asked me that, it probably would have taken me a minute to kind of consolidate my thoughts. But in preparation for being able to answer that question for you on this live, right? Now, if someone asks me that in 2 days, I can just fire away because I've done the work. Giving people quick wins. This is huge. And this kind of goes succinct with, or not succinct. It goes, why did I say succinct? Weird. It goes in hand with providing value, which I'll get to in a second, but giving people little quick wins that they can do. If it is a photography trick, right? And they can adjust a setting. If it is a trick about, now my brain's gone away. Like in branding, how to set up a good photo, use this little trick, use this hack, right? Go to this website to check this out. Like one for me, for people that if they're doing their own websites, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but ADA, which is the American Disabilities Act, it has in there just kind of for education, yes, but a lot of times when we're designing websites, at least most of us probably don't think about people who might have a disability with their vision. So they may need, those people typically can't really make out or can't read things that are of lower contrast. So there actually is a website that I go to, and you can put in the background and the foreground, and it will tell you if it meets ADA standards, right? That's a super quick win that I can give somebody. And again, all this is doing is it's peppering your knowledge in there for people to go, wow, they really do know what they're talking about, without giving away all your knowledge for free, which don't freaking do that. Do not, I repeat, do not give away all of your knowledge for free. Okay. That may sound selfish. It may sound shitty, but the bottom line is that you are doing what you're doing because you're the expert and because you can add value. And you need to be able to do that, right? And you want to make sure you're giving that value to the people who need it the most. So quick wins, great, but don't just like give them everything. I'm gonna warn you right now. I think my pit's about to climb up here because he doesn't like thunder, and he's 85 pounds, and it's hard for me to stop him sometimes. Another thing to position yourself as the expert, guys, you have to niche down. You have to. That's really not debatable. It's not negotiable. Not if you want to be super successful and be seen as an expert, because you can be seen as a jack of all trades and a master of none, or you can be seen as an expert. That doesn't mean you can't do other things. That's not what I'm saying. But if I say that I'm, for example, like I do branding. Great. But who do I help? Like my ideal people, not product-based. Not that I don't love them, but that's because my specific, what I specialize in, I specialize in helping coaches, consultants, and like heart-centered, purpose-driven, servant leadership-based entrepreneurs. I focus on helping them identify their unique badassery so that we can infuse that into their branding and make them stand out. That's specifically what I do, right? So if you can niche down, and don't ever be, the big objection with that is people are afraid that if they niche down, they're going to lose all these sales. But if you're trying to speak to everyone, you'll speak to no one. So niching down definitely helps position yourself as an expert. And it's weird because I like to say niche, but niching down doesn't sound right. So I say niching down. It's weird. Another one is in publicity. So if you either have been published, if you've been featured anywhere, whether it was on somebody's blog or an article or an actual magazine publication, a little tip that was given to me that I like to pass on is you can also check out HARO. It's HARO, and it's Help a Reporter Out. And you can get sign up to get emails. They'll send you 3 emails a day. The morning one is like at 4:30, which is ridiculous. And the evening one, I think, is at 4. So it's probably in my inbox right now. And what it'll do is they'll separate it by industry and by categories of things that reporters are looking to talk to an expert on for their article. There are very, very small local reporters and establishments. There are big name ones too. Like a lot of times it'll say anonymous because they don't want people to know if it's like a really big name and just get ridiculous submissions. The tip that was given to me, just FYI, is that if you can get to those and you can respond to an inquiry within 30 minutes, go for it. But if it's over 30, probably don't waste your time because they just get thousands and thousands potentially, or maybe not thousands, but definitely hundreds. So help a reporter out. And if you get published, you can put that on there. I mentioned providing value. So that can be done in quick wins. It can also be done in things like, one of the greatest ways you can provide value is if you have any kind of a platform or anything, it's that ask me anything, right? It's letting people ask questions, or if no one's asked, knowing what the most common questions are in your industry and in your field and providing answers to those. Whether you do that in stories, you do it in a post, you do it in a live, but there are lots of ways that you can provide value to people. And that is one thing I want to touch on just super quick before I get to my last one. While not central to positioning yourself as an expert, when it comes to increasing the visibility of your brand, increasing the know, like, and trust factor that people have with you, I don't want to say you have to, because I can't like regulate this, but I would, as strongly as I can urge you to always think about serving first and selling second. Okay. Most of us do like to buy things, but most of us don't like to be sold to. And so if you're providing value and you're showing up for your audience, they're going to, that loyalty and that brand awareness and that know, like, and trust factor is going to increase. And that's when they start being willing to invest and give you their money. So think about serving first, selling second. In fact, on your social media, you shouldn't be really pitching very much. Now, I'm not going to say never, because that's not true, but you shouldn't be selling all the time. You should really be looking to serve and to just build those relationships. And the last one that I have down, by far not an exhaustive list, I know there's more, is speaking. So if you have an opportunity to be on a panel, to have a guest spot on a podcast, speak at a virtual event, even things like speaking at school. So if, again, I'm just going to use Kaylee because I know she's probably the one who's here, but if you're a photographer and your local high school has a photography class or a photography program, ask if you can cut, because a lot of times, especially too, little side note, CTE is Career and Technical Education. It's a federally funded program that's in the high schools, and they are required CTE programs because they have to abide by a lot of federal rules to get their funding. They're required by law to bring in a certain amount of industry experts and speak to their kiddos. And so if you fit one of those, then absolutely go and do that. And obviously, like, speaking on larger stages and things like that is great. You can also check out like local TED events, TEDx, if one of your universities is sponsoring it, all those different opportunities. There's another resource that I'll give you that I am just now getting into. It's called Spot a Guest. So Spot a Guest. And it is a platform for people who have podcasts to request guest speakers. So if you're going to try to get in on a podcast, it doesn't mean you can't get in. I mean, like, you'll never know if you don't ask. But if the podcast has 300 episodes, chances are they have a lot of requests for people who want to be on that podcast. If it has 10, 20, 30, and you reach out to that person, make sure it's like the right podcast and you actually enjoy it and you like what they're saying. And if you reach out to them and say, love your podcast, this is the value I found in it, this is what I do, I would love to come on and offer this value to your audience. That's a great way to do that. So real quick recap, positioning yourself as the expert. Tell your story. Remember, you're presenting the problem. You are going through how you search for your solution and then your breakthrough moment and the solution you found. Testimonials and social proof. Teaching, quick wins, giving your audience quick wins. Specializing and niching down so that you truly can be an expert in one specific thing. Publicity. Remember, I talked about HARO, help a reporter out. Providing value. Another great way to do that is the Ask Me Anything tool, or if there's a publication you found handy, whatever. And then speaking engagements. So if you guys have any questions, again, you always know that I am here to answer them. In fact, I would love it if you did ask me questions. I definitely know that I've got a lot of things that I want to start bringing to this group. And so I'm ready for this group to just start rocking and rolling and really take off. Because I know that there's not only a lot of things that I want to give and share, I know that that's the case for other people in here too. So if you have questions, if you have a specific topic you want me to speak on or address or anything like that, let me know, comment, send me a message, whatever the case is. I hope you're staying safe, healthy, and as sane as you possibly can in all this madness. And if you're getting ready to start venturing back out with things opening back up, I just pray that you'll be safe and careful, and hopefully this thing will pass really soon. And I won't say that we can get back to normal, but that we can find a new normal that doesn't involve us all being on house arrest. So, all right, people, later.